The queer community's struggle for equality has been one of the biggest civil rights focuses of the 21st century. People who identify as gay, bisexual, transgender and queer have waited with bated breath as major historical breakthroughs have been made. Civil rights in the queer community have moved in leaps and bounds in the past century. Being gay has become far more socially acceptable and less stigmatized. Queer is becoming normal, making its way into our movies, TV shows, and computer screens. We're more comfortable than ever talking about these issues and confronting homophobia, but one thing that's still kept very quiet is the discrimination in the community itself.
I'm transgender. I was born with what people generally consider to be female anatomy. I went to an all-girls school for 8 years. After my transition, I ventured into the world of dating and discovered that being trans is, to many people, especially gay men, an undesirable trait. Generally, all we hear about is straight people discriminating against gay people. It is, in a way, quite novel that queer people discriminate against each other.
A simple foray into the world of dating apps reveals that even those who are supposedly allied can lack empathy for one another. A lot of people like Jay are already on the outside and are a part of a minority due to their sexuality. But then, they're also being marginalized by people within the LGBTQI community, which is already so oppressed. What sort of discrimination do you as a trans person face from the other members of the LGBTQI community?
It gets a bit awkward when you get, like people that have just come out sort of thing, who have identified as, for example, as lesbian in the past, who have gone from female to male, have identified as lesbian, so they're still sort of, in that sort of awkward phase between like, am I a straight male or a lesbian sort of thing. There's straight females that would reject them, but then there's also the lesbians that reject them as well. So it's kind of like this, like the lesbians don't really accept them as one of them anymore.
Do you think other people in the community experience a similar discrimination, or is it solely trans people that experience it?
I think when it comes to, I can't speak for people outside of the transgender community, but I definitely know of other people that I've come into contact with who have, received a lot of crap, basically.
Do you think that when you transitioned, you'd be treated this sort of way by people who are supposed to support you?
I guess when you come out, you expect that there's going to be, discrimination obviously involved with the process. But from people within the same community going through the same thing, I guess I didn't really expect that.
Now more than ever, there's definitely a love is love sort of vibe in the general community. I am an asexual hetero-romantic person, but if I was to date someone who is heterosexual, it would be a bit of a challenge for me to keep them sexually satisfied.
So, would you date someone who's bi or trans?
No, I wouldn't.
That's an interesting perspective. Do you think that perhaps that viewpoint is a common one within the community?
I don't know if the LGBT community really accepts me as part of them, because asexuality is not really that commonly considered as part of their community, because they pretty much put it synonymously with heterosexual, but there is a slight difference.
So saying that, do you think that the discrimination against these people is something that people should be more aware of?
Well, I can understand that on the transgender's point of view that it is unfair to them, but on my point of view, and I can't understand why people would not date them, because we do have our own reasons. For example, because I'm attracted to males, so if there's a trans man, how I would feel, I would not date them because they're actually not a real man.
Is it surprising that queer people are discriminating against each other?
Are they? I didn't know they were.
There you go.
Well, I didn't really think that it was an issue. I thought it was a really inclusive community.
Discrimination is a part of human nature, so it's going to be everywhere, no matter what kind of community or how small it is.
So even as things change and society moves forward, we can see that there will always be room for improvement, ways to make people more comfortable. No matter what community a person belongs to, everyone deserves to feel like they belong.